Good morning. Welcome to the Speak Life podcast. I'm your host, Cherie Casey. This morning's topic is moving forward and not looking back. Many times we, as human beings, have the tendency to hold on to things. And when we hold on to these things, we do what's called self-sabotage. An example of this from the biblical sense is when Lot's wife turned around, looking back, she turned into a pillar of salt. Metaphorically, so do we. When we look back at things, now I'm not saying that we don't evaluate or consider things that held us back before, or examine closely why we made some mistakes in our lives. However, when you stay and dwell in it, that's where the problem starts. For example, when we hold grudges, long, ugly grudges against people, to the point where they consume us, it doesn't benefit us or get us anywhere. People who go through divorce get so angry and bitter to the point where, I'm not this person, I hate them, and, all of those things. When you really examine yourself about these things, about hating the person that you chose to marry, and this is going to be an ouch one because this is for all of us. We need to really dig deep, because at one time there was something about this person that you liked. So what you have to do is accept responsibility for getting involved with the person in the first place. We made these choices. We have to live with them. So, one of the things that we usually look for is we look for the person to magically change and then get mad at ourselves and be caught up all over again in why how much we can't stand them. But the reality is you have to meet these people where they are, especially if you have children that you have to co-parent. But that takes it to a whole nother level. So when you look back and you're focusing on what happened, oh my goodness, that's why I hate them, blah, blah, blah. It takes you back a step when you should be moving forward. Because see, when you move forward, nothing they do will bother you. When you move forward, you might have that little ping for a minute when they do or say something to you, but it'll only last for a moment, because you'd be like, thank goodness I got into this, but thank goodness I got out of it. And you're out of it, and because you're out of it, you should be moving forward. Don't focus on things that should have been and things that are past the time. Now, I know we can do anything we want to do in life. We can, God can give us, restore time and everything. But there are some things that will never take place. There are some things where the time has passed and that we need to accept and move on. Staying and dwelling on them is not going to help. I know some people who wanted to be famous athletes, famous singers. Now, I'll tell you about myself. I had this aspiration that I can sing. There's several things that I can do, gifts that I have, that I get to use them. Singing was one of them. I love singing. Oh, I would love to be on stage. And I still get to use my gifts, like I said, I sing, I act, I write. I can organize things pretty well, shows and things like that. But my time for singing, going on the road singing, is over. That aspiration, and I accepted it pretty much, and it's because I didn't do the things that I was young. When I was younger, I didn't take it seriously enough to go get lessons, go get in a group, go do those things. So I focus now on the things that I can do. I can still do my productions. I can still do my plays. I can still write. I can still do those things. And I can incorporate the singing in there. Will I ever get a big contract or a record? Probably not. Because that's not going to be my focus. That's something that I should have pursued earlier in life. Not to say that I can't, but it's just not something that I want to focus on at this point. So those are things that had limitations on them. Some things do. Then let's focus on the things that we have in our hand that we can do. Moving forward, doing those things. Because if we don't, we'll stay stuck in what we couldn't have and what we couldn't do. There are so many people who are clinically depressed behind what they couldn't do, what their life is not going to be about. I know someone personally who is a wonderful, fantastic musician. Just can't move forward on the fact that his band didn't make it. Can't move forward. And I'm talking about 30, 40 years. Can't move forward. Stuck and into drugs because of it. Just can't get past that. The consequences of staying stuck are too great. They're too great. There's such a big world out here. So many things you could do. God has created us to move forward. Because if we move forward, then we bless the people. Then we bless the generations to come. And that's what life is all about. Blessing the generations to come. Showing them that we can do anything. Because if we show them that we can do anything, then they won't be stuck. They can know how to move forward. Talking about the same old thing over and over again keeps you stuck, keeps you bound. You cannot afford to be bound. There's so much of life to be lived. I was having a conversation with my dear sister yesterday, and we were talking about the fact that right before our eyes, things are happening. We are becoming the next generation of senior citizens. We are, our parents, we're looking at them and we're looking at, their frailty, the things that they're no longer able to do, and looking at our reality that there are things that we're no longer able to do. I remember watching one of my beautiful relatives when all of her friends were gone. And and then her husband died, and she just knew there were no longer things that she could do. And she accepted them. And she lived a happy life after that. She lived until she died, she was very happy. Like I said, there are things that will never happen. So we have to accept those things. Moving forward doesn't mean that you forget, but it does mean that you forgive yourself first without beating yourself up. There's no need to beat yourself up. You can, in the beginning, when you realize, wow, I always wanted to do this or I always wanted to do that, you can say, wow, I was so distracted. I should have did this. I should have did that. But you have to move forward. You have to move forward and embrace those things that you are doing, that you can do. And so we don't give ourselves enough credit for the things we can do, for the things that we are able to do, for what we're able to contribute, even to contribute to your children and your family. Even if you're able to give some wisdom to someone, that's a blessing. My aunt, my dear sweet aunt, she passed away. I was in my 30s. And she said to me, I told her, at that time when I was thinking about moving away, and I didn't talk to my mother about it, but for some reason I talked to her on the phone, and I don't know why. I was just so driven to call her. And she said to me, if you want to go to the moon, wherever you want to go, just go. Go, live your life. Let go of whatever it is you have to let go and move forward. Because if you don't, you're going to have a life of regrets. At that time, she was in her 60s, and she said, if I could have picked up and left and went, I would have. But instead, I chose to stay here and live the life that I'm living. But I wish I had left. But you go. Because I didn't go, you go. You go. Move away. Enjoy your life. That was the last conversation that I would have with her. She died literally a month after that.